friends, welcome to My Sew Bliss. Today I'm excited to share with you 10 back to school items or items you'll use at school that you would also use when in your sewing room or sewing or making something. Just 10 tools that are super helpful and great to buy during back to school times or when they're on sale. So some of them are a little unconventional and some of them are kind of like, oh, that's a great idea. Or some of them are like, well, yeah, everybody does that, right? So let's get started sharing the 10 items that are back to school items that I also use in my sewing room. So item number 1, I am always reaching for this instead of your typical one, but it is a pencil or a friction pen or a washable marker. I have those all over my house from kids. I have pencils all over my house from kids. Those are so much easier to grab and use than marking tools, and I feel like a lot easier to keep track of, maybe because like I have one designated marking tool and I have a million markers or pencils or pens most of the time. Pens are sometimes hard to come by too in my house, but pencils I know I can usually always find. Finding the pencil sharpener, that's another question. So I use a lot of times to mark my fabric, I'm using a pencil. It's not always going to come out, but a lot of times what I'm sewing and what I'm marking isn't seen anyways. If it is something that will be seen, washable markers. They're cheap. They come out of clothes, which I know from kids, and it works great. Also, friction pens are really great too. Great for marking as well. So those are kind of a 3-in-1 item, but I absolutely love these, have them all around my house, like I said. Okay, number 2, and I've talked about this so much, is Elmer's glue and glue sticks. So these are something that I use all the time in my sewing, either making patterns, trying to get something to line up correctly. So many different reasons to use it. And one thing that's really nice, this little tip right here, I forget what she calls it, but it's from Pen and Paper Patterns, and she designed this so that, okay, it's taking forever to unscrew, but I also might have gotten it stuck. There we go. So it has like this tip that goes through this tip so that it, first of all, doesn't get clogged, but then this little tiny, I don't even know if the camera is going to pick up on this little tiny spot right here, see, it just makes a little tiny bit of glue come out, so you can lay it on your seam, on the inside of your seam, and iron it into place. And that is going to really help line up things, like if you're lining up the print, or if you need like a certain angle to line up perfectly, Elmer's glue is amazing for that. And like I said, you use your iron to then heat it, get it to sit in place. Bada bing, bada boom. It works so well. If you're not using Elmer's glue, you need to be. Glue sticks, regular glue. If you are using the regular glue, highly recommend this little tip piece. I will put a link for it down below. It's just so handy and I love it. So those are also kind of a 2-in-1. What is with my combining here? But that is number 2. Number 3, paper. I always have lots and lots of paper. First of all, for printing out patterns. I usually typically am printing out patterns at home a lot. Or even printing out the instructions if it's a quilt. Or printing out FPP patterns, foundation paper piecing patterns, which I love to do. I just use regular paper. I know some people use specialty paper, but printer paper, like this is just, I think this one's from Costco. It's like the giant Costco bag. It's like 800 sheets, and hopefully will last me a while. Maybe not. We'll see how much I print, but always have paper. Also just great to write down notes and keep track of what you're doing. So, but that's also a good reason to have a notebook. A specific notebook would be good for like writing down exactly what you're making, how you're doing it, if you're changing anything, all the details, because then it's in one place, whereas loose leaf paper would more easily get lost. Now, do I do that? No. So I need to be taking my own advice on writing things down. We're going to work on that. Okay, number 4. I don't use this a ton, but when you need it, it's helpful. Sometimes when I'm making like bag patterns, you have to round the corners. And sometimes it's just easy to do it with a compass. And then you don't have to also buy the templates or the whatever acrylics that come with them too. You can, they're nice, they're great. I just don't like spending my money on extra things that I don't actually need when I just have a compass already at home, and it can help me create those curves really nicely. It can help me round something out really nicely. If I need a perfect circle, it helps me create that perfect circle. If I need to add a seam allowance, seam allowance to something, this is going to be really helpful. So if you're making a lot of things with curves or rounded corners, also just really helpful to have on hand is a compass. Okay, number 5, I think we're on, and I didn't actually grab these, but some straws, 2 specifically, one bigger one smaller one, so they'll fit inside each other. I use these all the time for turning things right sides out after sewing them together. If you've heard me talk about tube turning, that is what I use all the time. Like, there's specific tools for this. You could use a chopstick as well, but that's not a back to school item. Straws, they are. My kids need straws all the time for their water bottles, so what do I always have on hand? Straws. And then if I need something turned inside out or right side out, I can easily do it with my 2 straws that fit inside of each other. So easy, so quick, and convenient. And I have enough of them around the house they don't get lost. Which is the great thing about these back to school items. I feel like everyone has them or has a lot of them, so if they do get lost, you can find them easily. Maybe that's why I like back to school items or using school items so much for sewing. Probably. Okay, number 6 is kind of back to our Elmer's glue, but tape. I use tape a lot also to hold things in place, but also just to tape my patterns together because I do, like I said, print a lot of patterns at home. But also, yeah, you can also line things up. Washi tape is great for lining up on your machine. I have specific washi tape that even has my seam allowance that's amazing. So tape in all the varieties is wonderful to have. I even, like you can see, have a little, whatever this is called to hold the tape holder. I don't know. It has a name, but I'm not a teacher, so I don't know. So tape is our number 6. Okay, number 7, I always have a box of gallon-sized bags. And this is great for holding, first of all your supplies for something, but a lot of times I will store all my pattern pieces in a bag and then write on it, which you can write on this with a Sharpie. I just write the details of like what the pattern is, or maybe even draw a little picture of what it looks like, so then I can easily go through my patterns. Is it my favorite way to store patterns? No, but it's honestly the best way I've seen so far because it keeps everything in one place. If I clip them all together, like one's gonna fall out, something's gonna get lost. This way, it's in a Ziploc bag, everything's together, I can write the name on the outside. It just feels more convenient. So I always have gallon Ziploc bags hanging around, and like I said, also great for just storing pieces from a project, storing scraps. You never know when you need to organize something with a Ziploc bag. Okay, number 8. This one I don't use all the time, and I should, and I feel like I should promote it more because safety comes first, right guys? Safety goggles. Like, you wear them for science so you don't get like chemicals in your eyes, but like what about flying needles? It's important to keep those needles out of your eyes and keep your eyeballs safe. So found these really cute ones, I think at Hobby Lobby. I don't know where I found them, but it came in a 2-pack and I should wear them when I'm sewing, especially over heavy fabrics or like metal, or well, or if it could get stuck on metal, you shouldn't sew over metal, but if it could break your needle, use some of these nice little glasses. So unconventional, yes. And do we all have them? No, but I've heard too many horror stories. So I need to promote them. I need to wear them more because we got to keep those eyes safe, guys. We got to stay safe. Okay, number 9. This is kind of a duh one, but like a pencil pouch, perfect for storing all your supplies. I love this one from Rad and Happy years ago. She designed this and I love it. It opens up. I mean, obviously you can make your own. Also a great idea. I've done tons of those too. But perfect for storing all of our stuff. So literally I can just throw everything in and it's good to go and cleaned up perfectly. So a pencil pouch is ideal for any sewing room. And then you can just take it everywhere and throw it, like I throw it in my tote and it's ready to go. If I need to like go sew at a friend's house, I'm ready. Gotta go quick. Make use of the time that I have. Okay, number 10. Last one is, this is a neck reading light. Now I know most of the time you're not going to be using these at school, but if you're a reader, you're probably going to want one of these. And it's so cool because it has little buttons on the side right here and then bright lights. And I think that's the brightest setting. I just blinded myself, but you can turn on one side, you can turn on both sides. This is so great for little small piecing or just having extra light in front of you, anything hands-on. I have a lot of lights, but this is just great, especially if you're like traveling, if you're doing hand sewing, if you're binding, hand binding. Oh, so many good uses for this. So it's a reading light. That's why I added it as a back to school item, because I'm like, what kid wouldn't love these also for reading like at night before bed? My kids would be, well, they were obsessed when I first got them. They stole them and then I took them back. So neck reading light, super helpful. So that was quick. I was kind of a rambling mess, but those are my 10 back to school items that you can also use in your sewing room. I hope you found some tips. I hope you found some tricks, and let me know if you use any of these items, what you like to use, and if there's anything that I missed. I put this together really quickly, so I tried to really think about what I use daily or somewhat frequently. That's also a back to school item. So let me know in the comments. And if you have any comments, questions, also let me know. I will put links for most of the things that I can find. I'll put links down below. Some of the things, obviously, like paper, Costco, Walmart. I could link it for you if you want, but just let me know. Make sure also to subscribe for more sewing tutorials, tips, tricks, and ranting. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!